Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Coach JC. Everyone gather around should be a good one today. Today's topic is you have to be willing to lose a man in order to keep a man. This is the title that brought on by Tony Gaskin. I just want to get my own thoughts, my own opinion. But yeah, though, you gotta be willing to lose a man in order to keep him. He has to be able to respect you. He has to be able to treat you with kindness, dignity, and you got to be able to risk it all, really. Your sanity, your peace, your whereabouts, all that stuff matters. So you got to really uh, zone in, lock in when the man who's not really giving you the time, like giving you affection, screaming at you, yelling at you, grading you. You gotta be really, you gotta, take your time back, you gotta take your pride back. You can't really fall for the okie doke, because sometimes, like I said, you'll be in a situation where you'll be in a relationship and it's just toxic and you'll just end up staying, and he continue to abuse you. And that's only damaging you mentally, emotionally, and physically. And you got to find a way out. You got to make sure that you value yourself first. And like I said, especially is around yourself, especially you're around kids too. That's not a good example either, because your kids don't want to see that. It's not a good, loving environment if you have kids involved. So just always think about yourself, think about your own well-being, and there's more power to you walking away than staying committed to somebody who's not giving you the respect, the love, the affection that you gratefully need and definitely deserve. Like I said, that's why you see a lot of women staying in abusive relationships, because they feel like, hey, we're already here, we already got kids together, they don't want to turn the page, or hey, they feel that they might be losing their freedom if they try to go elsewhere. But you gotta tone in within yourself, look deep within yourself, and just look and understand that God didn't encourage you to be disrespected, to be mishandled, mistreated. Man really supposed to elevate you, speak life into you, try to help, encourage you in all aspects of your life. That's what men are here to be. If he's out there degrading you or putting you down, then you really don't need all the chaos, all the drama. You really don't need all that. And that's the thing that a lot of women, might have had that syndrome. Maybe growing up, may have been abusive father, or they might have had abusive father, or they might have like abusive men coming in and out, and they feel like that's just the norm. So that's not the norm. That's really disruptive. That's very aggravating. So you have to be very willing to put those differences aside. You have to be willing to push that away, understanding that you're a queen and you definitely deserve the best out of life. And a lot of times we don't see it. But like I said, you gotta respect yourself. Willing to lose everything. He talk about gambling. Men like to gamble and stuff. Well, you gotta gamble. You gotta put all your cards on the table. Like, hey, this is who I am. I'm gonna be respected. I'm gonna be appreciated. And if you can't take me how I am right now, then I'm just gonna walk away. And getting jealous, getting mad. I'm moving in silence. You're not gonna hear from me for a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You'll know why. Keep your distance away from the person. Make sure that you keep your distance away. Because sometimes when y'all in a situation where y'all continuously talking to one another, maybe talking to each other every now and then, that might confuse the situation. But when you walk away, you gotta be 10 toes down, and it's like, hey, I'm out, and strong with it, because you're like, hey, God got something better for me. You know what I mean? I don't care about what situation you're in. I don't care whether it's personal, I don't care whether it's family, I don't care whether it's a job, whatever. When you feel disrespected, you feel like you're not getting what you deserve, then it's best for you to leave. It's best for you to leave and to walk away. You know, have your distance away. You know, don't disrespect the person, don't belittle the person, but at the same time though, you want to be able to walk away in peace and on your own terms. You know, you don't want you want to get into a situation where you're constantly arguing, constantly fighting, constantly losing your energy dealing with that. You know, because dealing with a man who's willing to take you to that route, energy draining. If it's drain, he's not a fountain, he's not pouring into you, then yeah, you just need to walk away and really re-examine some things. You know, look at yourself and like, who am I? What am I trying to do? You know, what am I trying to build? What am I trying to accomplish? And a lot of times, like I said, a lot of times you get to those questions or answers when you're by yourself, when you're at peace, when you kind of have a time to think for yourself, and maybe just be 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, and you might need that just to get your mind, you know, unboggled or unclogged, you know. But yeah, though, that's all I really have to say. Like I said, in order to really keep him, you know, obviously, a man gotta want to get help, you know, for first and foremost. You know, there's really nothing you really can do to keep a man. It's really up to him. He has to be willing to put the work in, willing to see a sacrifice. But at the same time though, you gotta be able to walk away and just, you know, have your distance away. It don't really mean you go away forever, but just try to see, you know, if the behavior continues, you know, then you gonna walk away. But you walk away and you see remorse, you see him, you know, changing for the better, then yeah, you can give him a chance. You know, it's not a long string, it's a short string, and you just gotta know, people gotta know that you're about business. If he knows that you're gonna keep putting up with this stuff over and over again, then he's gonna keep trying you. He's gonna keep pushing you out to the edge. So you gotta do something different. You know, you want something different, you gotta show something different. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I really gotta say for this video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time out, Coach JC.